Hi guys, so today I have a review for you, and I've never actually done one of these videos before. This is a review on two new L'Oreal products, and the first being the L'Oreal Infallible Mattifying Base Infallible Mattifying Primer and the L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24-Hour Matte Mattifying Infallible Foundation. And I've been testing these products out for quite a few weeks now, and I wanted to do that just so I could tell you how I like to apply them and what I think of them. And I didn't just want to do like a review of like me using it in like say like one day. I just wanted to try the product out for quite a long time basically before telling you to go like buy the product. I'm just going to share with you my thoughts on both these products, and I hope you enjoy. Also, if you're wondering what other makeup products are on my face, then I did film a tutorial for this look, so that should be up either before this video or afterwards. If you have any other requests of any other reviews you want me to do, if you do enjoy this video, then please let me know in the comments. So yeah, let's get started. So at the moment I look a bit funny and my light is completely washing me out, but I have fake tan on and I don't like always fake tan my face. So I've already started off by moisturising, toning and cleansing my face, and the moisturiser I used today was the Garnier Skin Naturals Moisture Matte Combination to Oily Skin Daily Oil Free Moisturiser, as I do have oily skin and I have like a T-zone, so I always like to use more of sort of matte moisturiser. So I'm going to start off by applying the primer. So I'm just going to take a pea-sized amount of this on my finger, about that much, as I don't want to take too much because I always find that this sort of makes me a lot more oilier than I already am if I apply too much. So I'm just applying a little bit on my head and I'm just pressing that into my skin, and I apply it to the more sort of oilier areas of my face, so on my chin and then around my nose area. I decided to turn my light off as it was like making me look a really funny colour. So I just applied the primer all over my face. So I'm just going to read to you what it says on the back of the primer. So the texture, it says that it has a light texture, and I would agree with that. It doesn't feel like heavy on my skin. And it says that it claims to mattify the skin, and it definitely does that. It does feel a little bit sort of sticky, but I suppose that's where, you know, you're meant to put the primer on before the foundation, so the foundation can sort of stick to the primer and apply nicely on top, so it doesn't feel sort of dry, even though it is sort of a mattifying primer. And then it says to use before makeup, so not to use after makeup or sort of during makeup, to sort of apply first, but that's sort of what everyone does with a primer anyway. And then it says oil control, and the pro tip says smooth onto skin, working outwards for a flawless looking skin texture. So to move outwards instead of sort of inwards on your skin. I do like this primer, but I would say if you get sort of oily around your nose area like I do, then to not really apply too much around there, as I find around these creases of my nose, I find it gets really oily there after a while if I apply too much of it. But if you just apply sort of a pea-sized amount on your finger, then you should be okay. So I do actually really like this primer, and I think it's really good for the price. Now moving on to the foundation. Now I got mine in the shade 20 Sand, as I did pick up the shade, I think it was 30 Honey, but when I applied that it was far too orange, and that is one downside I would say to these foundations, is they do sort of have like an orange undertone. But yeah, that's all I'd say sort of about the colour range, is they don't have that many colours, and the sort of darker colours are sort of more orange toned, whereas they don't have like the sort of olivey kind of undertone, if that makes sense. So I do like this product on its own, but I do like to mix it with another foundation of mine, and this is the Makeup Forever HD foundation, and it's just because this one is sort of a better shade for me, whereas when I've sort of just freshly fake tanned like I have today, then this is a little bit too light. But as my tan starts to fade, I do use this on its own, but when I'm sort of more tan like today, then I will sort of mix the two together and they're the perfect shade. But today I'm just going to wear this on its own, just so you can sort of see the colour payoff, and just so you can sort of see it on my skin without sort of mixing it with another foundation. So I'm going to be applying it with this angled kabuki brush, and this is just one from eBay, and this by the brand Jessup. And if you watch my videos, then you'll know that I absolutely love these brushes and I always use them. So the way I like to apply this is I apply a little bit on my hand, and this is a water sort of based foundation, I would say, but I would say that you have to work quite quickly with it as it does set quite fast, even though it's sort of more of a water based foundation. And I just like to dab this onto my skin like I do with any foundation, just to sort of build up the coverage. And as you can see, that was one pump and it hasn't covered like my whole face, so I do just like to take another pump and just cover the rest of my face, because like I said, it does sort of set quite quickly, so you do have to work really fast with it, so it doesn't sort of cover your face with just one pump. So that's the foundation all applied on my skin. I have taken a couple of pictures and I will insert them here just so you can sort of see what it looks like with and without the flash, as this foundation actually contains no SPF, which is really good, especially like if you want to go out on a night out and you're having pictures taken with the flash on and everything, as SPF does cause white flashback in pictures. That's why sort of foundations like MAC Studio Fix, although you've got the really nice heavy sort of matte sort of coverage, the only downside to that foundation sort of for me is that it has the white flashback, and I find with this foundation it doesn't do that. And also with this foundation I haven't matte it or anything at all, and as you can see it just looks really nice and matte. So I'm just going to read to you what it says on the back of the foundation now. So it says the texture is a medium texture, it's not airlight and it's not heavy, and I would say that it doesn't feel sort of heavy or anything on my skin. It feels like I'm wearing foundation but not like a really heavy foundation, so I'd say that's definitely true. And the coverage, it says high coverage. And I don't know if you noticed before, but I had a few sort of blemishes and sort of I always get redness around my nose, and as you can see the foundation has covered that up really well, and I haven't even used any concealer or anything yet. And it says that the finish is matte, so it's not a satin finish and it's not an illuminated sort of a luminosity finish, so dewy in other words. And then it says shine control. And then the pro tip for the foundation is smooth onto skin in circular motions for flawless looking coverage. So to sort of build it in circular motions, sort of like when you use your brush and you sort of dab it into your skin. So I'm just going to apply the rest of my makeup just so you can see what the foundation looks like when there's sort of more products on top of it, and the finish. I'll be right back. Hey guys, so it's a little bit later now and it's a little bit darker and I have the rest of my makeup on, and I'm just going to insert a couple of pictures just so you can see how the foundation's looking with the other makeup on top of it. So I don't know if you can tell by the picture, but the foundation's worn off a bit on my nose, but that might just be because I have a cold. So all in all, I love both these products. I would say that I would pick up the foundation a lot more than the primer, as I do find that this primer can leave you quite oily if you use a lot of it, like I said earlier. So I really love the foundation, but I wouldn't say that the primer is a must-have. Like, I wouldn't say that it's better than any other primer that I own, but I would say it's still good, but I wouldn't say it's like a must-have to have in your makeup collection. But foundation I would totally recommend, especially if you have oily skin. And a primer I like to use with this is actually one from the Body Shop, and it's the Insta Blur, and I find that that keeps me a lot more matte than this primer, so that's just a heads up. The only downside to this foundation is that they don't do more shades for sort of more darker skin tones, and that a lot of the colours are more orange toned than sort of like an olivey sort of undertone or like a pinky tone. It's more sort of towards like the orangey side. I would say though that if you're looking for a full coverage matte foundation, then to definitely try this out, especially if you like the MAC Studio Fix, as I really love that foundation, but it's very expensive. It's like £21.50, and plus there is SPF in that, whereas this is a lot better to wear for a night out because there's no SPF, so you don't get the white flashback. So I definitely recommend this foundation, and also the primer, because you might feel that it sits better on your skin than on my skin. Both of these retail for £7.99 each, but if you buy it in like Boots or Superdrug, I'm sure you could get it on offer for like maybe a 3 for 2 or maybe like 2 for £10. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope it helps some of you that maybe wants to try out the primer or the foundation. Please leave me your thoughts if you have tried any of these products in the comments down below, as I'd love to know how you got on with either of them or both of them. And please be sure to leave me your video requests in the comments down below. And also please remember to hit the like button and subscribe, as I'm really close to 200 subscribers. Thank you for watching. Bye!